one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Newberry.
Here.
Crowner. Johnson.
Here.
Lees.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Okay. Do we have anything that needs to be changed or perfected in our agenda? If not, I'd accept a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have our consent agenda. I would take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Support.
Motion support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, we'll go to our staff and council reports. Greg? Oh,
Just a few, I
Am I on? Are you on?
don't know, am I on?
Hello.
Hello, yep.
Okay.
Now.
Just a few items tonight, Your Honor. I said I would come back after talking with Levine's and bring back some numbers. The yard waste carts are currently at $2 per month and $4.75 per pickup. Yard waste drop-off, $75 a month. Rental for each container, $75 per dump, if we were to do that out of the the Public Works facility. They had talked about reducing those rates, but based on current costs, they have decided not to reduce the rates at this point in time. I did do a follow-up. I'm waiting to hear back from Dennis, and I'll get this back to council, but we'll include this in our discussion. Just wanted to give you a quick update on that.
Greg, could you give me those numbers again?
Sure. $75 a month rental for the yard waste drop-off for a container, $75 per dump. The public pays $2 per month for their yard waste containers, $4.75 per pickup. You call them when you want it picked up. And grass, leaves, minor brush, not major brush, obviously. The city does do that in large part anyways when there's a storm. Can go in those containers that they pick up on at each property.
Thank you.
Just a quick thank you to Andy and everyone involved in the 4th of July. It was a good event, and Chief can speak to it, but only a few minor incidents during the day. It's a pretty quiet day from that perspective. But a lot of people put a lot of hard work in, and I just wanted to thank them for that. Wanted to get the grants submitted. I submitted the tree grant and report for the Trees Forever grant, and I wanted to get that submitted to see if they had any information that they needed in advance, or excuse me, subsequently. So I wanted to get that submitted early, as well as the Wellmark grant, which is the match information was due by August 17th. Wanted to get that in early in case we needed to address anything on that as well. So those are in and turned in. Pool, some good news. Bethany is now certified. We have 10 of our current employees will be able to will be certified as lifeguards, and they can rotate throughout the pool, and 4 will be certified as shallow water guards, not full lifeguards. Some of the concession stand employees. So that's good news, good numbers. And then lastly, on Facebook is the housing, the countywide housing survey. I'd certainly encourage you to share that information and encourage folks to participate in that survey. The more information we get back from the community, or all of the communities, the better. If you're here and you're a staff member, it's required.
Done.
So don't forget. Other than that, that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Public Works, Mike?
Just quick update on the Lures project. We haven't heard much because we're waiting on FI to get the bricklayers down here to fix pavers from last fall. It hasn't been done. We're wanting to close that out. I've worked with the engineers. They've contacted them, so hopefully they'll show up and we can finish that and close it out. The water main project, they showed up yesterday and today with equipment. I haven't got a plan. Supposed to be a meeting tomorrow. I think they're going to start where they left off and start down Mount Pleasant, hopefully, and get rolling. We don't have a plan on Washington Road yet or what's going on, but they're moving back into the area, and hopefully we'll get going and get back on that project and keep up with it. We're going to be starting our painting depending on weather tomorrow and Friday, and next week we'll be getting our stop blocks and arrows and crosswalks and all that stuff done. We'll be getting going on that. I think the 4th went really good for the heat. We made a few changes on traffic and flow for safety. Everything really worked out good, I think. We had one incident, one of our vendors had all day Sunday to supply their trailer and get moved in, and they took it upon themselves to move safety cones during the event that morning and drive 2 vehicles into the safety area. I had to ask them to remove them. Just want everybody to know that this is not acceptable. There's a reason for that, and safeties are most priority, not only the police department, public works, all you guys, staff, is we want this to go off safe and not have somebody backed over or run over. So I just wanted to say that, and I wanted to give a big thanks to Amber that took care of the craft show and the changes and the flow of traffic, and I think it really good, and there was nobody from that group that came through the stage or did anything it wasn't supposed to. In my opinion, it worked 100% better and smoother. We may make a few more changes next year to help even better, but just a reminder, do not move cones and barricades, not only on this event, traffics, roads, anywhere we got them. You can't move them. It's there for a reason. It's for safety. And I wanted to thank all the kids that always run up to help me with the frogs when I'm catching the frogs and trying to get them out. They seem to, was a little concerned. There was no one around when I showed up, and I think Andy was a little worried. And he mentioned one thing about a frog, and I turned around, and the whole place was full. And they enjoyed catching them and chasing them. And so I just wanted to say thanks out to all the kids that helped me out with the frogs. And to the police department. They kept everything, and the CERT team for the parade. I mean, I had nothing, didn't even have to do anything. They take care of that parade now, move the cones and do that. It's a big help to me. It's one thing I don't have to take care of. They do it and did a good job, and I appreciate their help too with everything there. That's all I got.
Thank you. Fire, building?
I've been gone, I have nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm just getting caught up.
Okay.
Please. You forgot.
I jumped, sorry, Jesse.
It's all right.
We have our police officer testing on Saturday at 9 a.m. I had 22 applications come in, but I only had 8 return the application to test with all their information so they can test. I know a lot of people just fill out applications just to fill out applications. I did send emails to everyone that I received an application, just telling them that we're testing on this date and they need to fill out some paperwork so we can get ready for them to come on Saturday. And I had 8 people return the paperwork, so that's been about normal the last few times. So unfortunately, we just don't get a big test pool anymore like we used to in the past. So that is going to happen this Saturday. It'll take a couple hours to complete everything. And then we'll do some interviews following that and go that route with it. So that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Kelly? Nope. Okay. Finance, do we have anything? How did we do on the pancake breakfast? Is that?
1,260 is roughly the number of people that came through and served. We did have little competition with the radio, kept announcing that it was the Kiwanis breakfast and we were charging, which we did not. The fire department has never charged for breakfast. I think the heat kept a lot of people down for the day, but I think overall it was a good turnout. I think the whole event, the whole day itself was a great day. I know my wife and I came back in for the fireworks, and you weren't finding any place to park from Roosevelt all the way into town, because we came in that way after I got my ice cream.
Any other staff reports? Not? Okay. Council, Kathy?
I just want to thank everybody for all their hard work on the 4th. The department heads really step up and do a lot for our citizens. Thank you.
John?
Well, I want to say thanks to Andy and everybody else that did help. You know, I don't think people realize how much it takes to put this together. I used to do that with wrestling, and there's a lot of work there that doesn't get seen. I think Andy and everybody did a really good job. I know my grandkids went down to the fire station, and all 3 of them shot water down there, and they'll remember that forever. So I thought that turned out really well. Only Sean got the ball all the way over to the end.
I lost a few times. I switched ends, and
Yeah. So, yeah. I told him to spray you, and I'd give him $5, but he wouldn't do it.
a lot of them did it for free.
Well, I want to thank my compatriots, you and Kathy and Melanie, for getting the bike races off and going and handing out medals. And also Jesse, there's a picture of our bike events on Bickle's Facebook page. Oh. There's quite a few pictures there of all the kids with their beaming faces and medals. And of course, accolades to the Bickle family that have been doing this for probably the last 18 years, if I remember right. They get up and they don't celebrate. They celebrate their 4th here with us, and we're all family now. And I just can't thank them enough for doing that and providing the bikes and the services that they do for us. It's just amazing. And then the kids parade is kind of slacking a little bit. They said, a lot of people said they didn't know anything about it, so we'll have to get out more information for the kids parade. Maybe some church groups and stuff with their kids, and Bible school would be interested in doing the kids parade and stuff of that nature. But otherwise, we'll keep it on the agenda and hope for bigger and better.
Thanks, guys, for doing a great job with 4th of July. Running into Mike at different times as days leading up was interesting when he has to do. And Jesse, I don't know how you make it through the whole day. I saw you early in the day. I saw you smiling with kids. I saw you late in the day out here firework and stuff. And I'm like, buddy, I don't know how you're walking, but thank you. Thanks a lot. I want to shout out to Kathy Christie for coming back and pulling together the parade in the afternoon. I helped her with that. I learned how to do it. Talk about organized chaos. When you watch parade, it looks very nice. It doesn't look that way at the beginning. I'm just saying. We have independent people in this community, believe it or not. But it works out in the end, and the kids have a good time. Understand a lot of candy, because everybody we tried to give candy to, they said they had plenty. But everything we had, they got. So that went pretty well. Angie's got the information for the winners on the parade, and she'll get those checks out to people as soon as she's able to. So if you're on and know you won, the money's on its way. But other than that, just good job, everybody. I think we represented our community well, and I think a lot of people had a great time, and just got to tweak it again a little bit for next year. That's the fun stuff.
Did you provide the toilet paper for Randy McPherson and his outhouse?
I did not. I did understand Randy's approach to being part of the parade and his engagement, and went with that. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Had a couple campers out at the lake. One of the couples came down. They were pretty impressed with your whole operation, mainly because he won the frog jumping. $500.
Whoa.
Got a pretty good positive taste from about the whole city. Anyway.
Thank you.
Cool.
I know that I had a number of citizens approach me and say how much they appreciated having this celebration here. They liked the idea of a small-town celebration, and they appreciated the fact that we put so much effort into it. So I'll pass that along to everybody that worked on it, that it was a good event for us. So. And with that, then I'll go to our community reports. Mrs. Teeter. Yes, you should come up the same way the citizen inquiries do. You have to talk in. And you
to talk into the microphone.
Just because people are online, you might
Right.
say who you are and what, your position. So
I am Rebecca Teeter. I'm the liaison from the City Council to the Burlington Public Library Board. Before I start my report, I too want to say what a wonderful day the 4th of July was. I thought the event was one of the best we've ever had here. I really enjoyed it. One of the things we have been working on with the library is to get more word out to the residents, and so having a library presence at the 4th of July celebration was great. And Rhonda Freevert, who is the library director, wanted me to express her appreciation to everyone, especially to the organizers. We had the library booth was set up at a really nice location diagonally across from the firehouse, so when people were in line for pancakes, they were going right by us. And then when it was time to take things down, she had people helping her do that, so that was great. Let's see. We had a pretty good turnout at the booth. I think some people came by because there was a Plinko game and the children were drawn to that. So while the children were playing, Rhonda talked to the parents about the different programs that are available this summer. Even if children are not signed up for the summer reading program, they can still be involved in some of the other activities that are going on at the library. There are also, I think she mentioned specifically there's a Lego activity, which sounded like great fun I wish our boys were still little. I know they would love to go to that. And then the Blank Zoo in Des Moines is bringing animals down. I don't know how that's going to work, but that sounds interesting to have the zoo coming. So children can sign up to participate in those. There are also things for adults, and something that was posted on the booth that drew my attention was Mystery Book Club. So if there's anyone out there who enjoys reading mysteries, stop at the library to get more information. It's starting July 23rd. I plan to go, and I've talked to a couple of people. I'm going to drag them along with me to that activity. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Rhonda also handed out all the calendars she had brought, so a lot of people picked up information. She also mentioned to remind people about audiobooks and ebooks available. There's a program called Hoopla, and that enables people to get not only access to books, but also access to videos and so forth. So just lots and lots of things at the public library, which is, the Burlington Public Library is also our library, and I want West Burlington residents to think about that too. Activities that have involved West Burlington students and adults, of course the summer reading activities, and I think every family received a postcard. I don't know if all of you received postcards about the summer reading program. I know we did at our house, even though we don't have young people. But as I said, there are activities for adults. The library does not have a bookmobile yet. That's in the works, but it's going to take 18 to 24 months to obtain that. Meanwhile, the Burlington Community School District has provided a small bus to be used to deliver books, and the library is delivering books to Klein Center, Oakview Nursing Home, and Addington Place, which is formerly Sunnybrook, I believe. So books are getting out to people here in West Burlington. I talked to Rhonda about the book drop-off that we're interested in having here in West Burlington. That's still being worked on. Rhonda has reached out to SCC as a possible site for that book drop, which would be handy for most people. We also talked about the idea of having one behind City Hall. People drive through to drop off their utility bills. At least I know that's usually how I pay mine, and so a book drop somewhere in that area might be really convenient for citizens. So if anyone has other ideas, please let me know or contact Rhonda at the library. Another note just about Friends of the Library. There was a book sale earlier in the year sponsored by Footnotes. The Friends of the Library is in need of more volunteers to work there at Footnotes. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, please call Rhonda at the library. There's another book sale coming up again, I believe in September. So if you have books that you would like to donate to the library sale. I don't know how much income was gleaned from the sale they had earlier, but they did sell 1,086 items. So maybe they brought in a fair amount from that. I had talked last time I was here, which was April 27th, about adding a library page to the website, and I think that's still a work in progress. So when that gets settled or set in place, as the liaison, I guess I am supposed to handle putting information on there, and so as soon as we're ready to go on that, if someone needs to let me know, and I will do what I can to keep a page up to date. And maybe we can set a link from that website to the Burlington Public Library. I'm not certain how that works. I've edited websites, but I've never created one, so that's it. I want to thank Kelly Fry for working with me to schedule routine or regular reports to the City Council. My next one will be October the 5th, and so we'll do it quarterly unless something special comes up and you need me to come, or I have exciting news about something that I want to get to the City Council. So that's all I have, unless council members have any questions or comments for me.
How would the book drop work? Would they come and pick it up once a week or something?
I believe that is correct, yes.
Once a week?
So that would be handy. I think especially in the wintertime, instead of, I
Yeah.
don't like to drive all down those hills
Yeah,
when
of
it's
course.
icy and snowy, and so to be able to drop off the books there, and then, someone can come and get them when the weather permits, so.
Becky, I just appreciate you being on the board and representing West Burlington to ensure just around $50,000 we send to the library every year. It helps me feel like we're getting value for the citizens' money that we're sending there, so thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I enjoy doing it. I'm
Super.
glad to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I did miss one person. I was going to have Brad do a report, but I don't know whether he wants to back there or not, so.
Everybody's there.
He's good.
Okay.
I think he's good.
Since we're moving toward a new website, I thought it might be worthwhile for at least to
Oh,
have
okay.
a kind of update on that.
I can give you a quick update, or here, Brad comes as well. It's the live date can be pretty much be any time going forward. Noticed a couple design issues they need to tweak. Sent out an email actually about an hour ago to staff to take a look at their pages and make sure that there wasn't any missing content or content that needed to be added. And Brad is going to coordinate that review to make sure we have that content on there. And then Brad is taking care of the .gov information as well and giving them additional information.
Yep. We also have a pen test coming up. Our window was from the 5th to the 5th of next month. The feds are going to try to hack into our computer system to verify the security of it. And they'll give us a report at the end to say of anything that they found and remediations to fix the problem. And the best part is it's free. So, I mean, usually these big corporations pay about $50,000 to have this done. And yeah, it's not costing us a dime because of CISA. Trying to think of what else we did this week, but mainly, yeah, the website, I'll go over with the department heads tomorrow. We'll verify that the information is still accurate and up to date, and we've already added the information that they needed to change the website over to verify that we own the websites. They just have to give me one more record and we can take it live. So we just have to verify that everything is good to go first.
When it is live, expect there to be probably items that may be missing or changed. So
Yeah.
we want to get it live, we want to get it going, we want to get it updated and continue that updating process and adding information to the website. So if you see something, please let us know. It's a process, and we also want to get rid of some of that old stuff that really doesn't belong on there any longer, and we want it to be user-friendly. So let us know if you have any recommendations.
We also set the employees up for some security awareness training for the next couple months. They'll get short segments we did this week. Monthly, they'll have about a 5-minute video to watch to kind of keep them refreshed on that. But other than that, it's just my normal routine of checking backups and fixing problems.
So how did we manage to get the feds to hack in to do that?
They offer it. I signed up with them, and it was one of the services that they offered, so I signed up for it. It's not really to put us down. It's to help us. We can't get in trouble for it. If we have something major, it's to address the issues. So,
Awesome.
Major reminder, even small holes in your system or from outside agencies or whatever.
yep, they're even going to try on our SCADA system down at the sewer plant to make sure that that's all secure. So,
Good.
I know it's important. The last place that I had employment was kind of taken over by a hidden Russian type of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely very important in this day and age, especially with the citizens' data. You don't want to play Russian roulette with the citizens' data. So.
We won't have to pay any ransomware, though. We have
No.
a disconnected backup, and we have a cloud backup.
Yep.
And that's done every other day.
We have
so
several
we're
backups.
Good to go.
Brad also took some drone footage for pictures for 4th of July.
Yep, I did get my commercial license for the drone, so anytime we want drone footage of something, I can go out and take drone footage for like our website if like you want overviews of the park or what have you. So, and it's all legal now. Any other questions for me? All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys.
Thanks, Brad.
Before we get into citizen inquiries, I'd just make a couple comments. One, Mrs. Teeter was one of our many volunteers that we have at different places, and I would like them to come in and report to the council on a semi-regular basis so that you really know what's going on in the meetings that they're attending and so forth. So I'm going to reach out to all of them and see if we can get them to come in occasionally for this.
Thank you.
The other is on our citizens inquiries. You notice we have a listing of our regulations that we have here. As mayor, I'm supposed to enforce these, but you might remind me if we're getting out of line on any of those at any time. The idea that our speaker needs to come up, be at the microphone, that they should say where they live, their name, so forth, that they have about 5 minutes, and that they should be addressing something that's of interest to the council, that's something that they can do. I mean, it's not here for a national forum or a state forum. We're here for city business and so forth. And again, having those rules on the agenda, I think probably will help us to manage what we're supposed to be doing as a council. So I'll just make that statement. And having said that, then do I have anybody here who wants to make a citizen inquiry? Citizen statement, okay. Then I'll move on to our public hearing. So I'll open the public hearing at this time on our amending the urban renewal. And do we have any information that needs to be presented at this public hearing?
This is, I believe this is the third reading, correct? We have,
No, this is the first.
This is the first
hearing. We'll have
Yeah.
the hearing and the first reading.
that's right.
We'll have a resolution and then the first reading of the ordinance.
Of the ordinance, yes.
Yeah.
But this is, the urban rural plan has been on the agenda. And we've been discussing that urban renewal plan during the budget process as well. It adds or extends the economic development payments. It includes the TIF admin fee, which is new. That aids the general fund by taking staff time that's allocated towards economic development and offsetting it with that TIF admin fee. We included the housing demand study in here as well, and Penn's Landing is included in here as well as land, potential land acquisition. So, and just a reminder, as by included it in the plan doesn't mean it has to be spent out of TIF. It just preserves our ability to utilize TIF.
Any other statements or comments at this point? If not, I should be able to close the public hearing. So, all right, moving on, we would have new business. So our first one is to consider a resolution approving the July 22nd UR Plan Amendment to update the description of the Greater Burlington Partnership Support Program previously approved in the October 2019 amendment to the plan and authorizing the undertaking of new urban renewal projects in the urban renewal area.
Motion approved.
Motion,
Support.
motion support, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say roll call vote.
For resolutions and ordinances. Okay.
Roll call?
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider a first reading of an ordinance providing the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the West Burlington urban renewal area.
Motion approved.
Motion?
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion?
This ordinance simply allows us to, create a TIF district within an urban renewal area that's included within the urban renewal plan. One more step in the process, and that allows us to levy, or excuse me, not levy, but to collect tax increment financing for a particular project.
Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 3, consider the first reading of an ordinance amending section 53.04 of the city code pertaining to uniform height specifications for grass, weeds, and brush.
We simply put this on, well, I guess, I don't know if you want a motion second or if it's, or discussion, but
I think I'd rather have a motion and a second on this, or we won't have any discussion at all, we'll just move on.
So go.
So a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a second?
Support.
Okay, motion second. All right. Discussion then.
great. Based on our last discussion, we were asked to simply put the ordinance on for an up or down vote based on that discussion. Sean wasn't at the last meeting as well. If you had any additional questions for Sean, he's here tonight. Basically, this would be a change from 6 to 8 inches, or we keep it at 6 inches. This simply pertains to the height of the grass, nothing else. As to notices, pretty simple process. Once we're made aware or discover the issue, notice is sent. They have 7 days to comply. At the end of 7 days, the city can then hire a contractor or have them ready to go. And we also discussed not bidding out, but putting out proposals for both mowing and for snow removal as well, to get a response on those, and rather than simply utilizing certain or available entities, but having that to come back then and get proposals and perhaps either select one, or as in some cases communities select the lowest provider, or they may have a list where they go down the list should the first one or second one not be available.
I guess I brought this to the attention here, and my purpose for this is the grass grows too fast sometimes. And you can mow 2 times a week, sometimes in the beginning of the summer, and if it's later on in the year, you may not have to mow for another week, an extra week. But during those times, as this reads, you could be started the process of getting ticketed. 6 inches. If you mow the grass 3.5 inches tomorrow, it's 4.5. Next day it's 6. There's people that work during the day. There's people that only mows on the weekend, and I think we ought to give them the chance to let it go to 8 inches and then mow. It's 6 inches too short as far as I'm concerned.
Any other discussion?
Well, John, I brought my ruler for you. And if you stood up and I put this next to you, 8 inches would be just almost here, mid-calf. Now, who wants to wade in grass that deep? 6 inches is over the top of your shoes around your ankles. When it rains, all that grass is wet. You're going to just get soaking wet. That's it. And granted, in the spring when we have all the rain, yes, you're going to have to mow twice a week. That's the purpose of grass. If you don't want to mow grass, then put in concrete like you have in your business. Then you won't have to mow. But if we let it go to 8 inches, because I know, Sean, there's just like a handful of people that we have every year, like 6, 7.
I have my small group of habitual violators, yes.
So I don't see that we should make it to the point of 8 inches, because then you're going to have 3 handfuls. Like, if I don't have to mow until I'm 8 inches. And you get to the point when the mail, if we mail here locally, they won't get the mail for 4 or 5 days after we mail it, because it goes up to Davenport and comes back.
Something like that.
Yeah. So you could have another 2 inches on top of those 8 inches, and now we're talking at like 10 inches to 12 inches, and a residential mower is not going to go through that.
I'm talking about when we have our person driving around looking at the yard saying, hey, this is 6 inches, and this, first of all, that's taking way too much time out of other important things too, okay? That we shouldn't have somebody driving around, no way, no shape, no form, for 6 inches, 8 inches of grass, and that's spending his time looking at away from other things. Second of all, 6 inches is not very much. Can I see that tape or that ruler? Okay, let me see that.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see that. So if you're looking at grass, and I mow that at 3.5 inches, and that's what the mower is. It's set 3.5. They say mow it at 3.5, 4 inches. The next day it's at 4.5 to 5. The next day it's over 6 inches.
I'm not sure what kind of grass you got that can grow 3 to 4 inches in 2 days. I've never.
3 or 4 in 2 days.
If you're going from
2 or 3 days. 3 days. All grass does that. Most grass does that.
I'm just going to voice my opinion. No matter what property I've owned in my life, it was my responsibility to maintain it to code of the city I lived in and take care of my yard. It didn't matter if I worked days, nights. I made it happen because it is my responsibility, and I think it's every citizen's responsibility to take care of their yard and mow it. No matter what their work schedule is, you work around it and you take care of it. That's all I got to say.
I agree. It's how short you have to mow that and keep that. That's a question. It's not whether you're taking care of it. It's not whether you're letting stuff grow up to around your car and you have to weed eat it because it's too
But I'm just
tall.
saying, I agree with Treese. Right now, it's 6 inches, and before Sean can get it mailed to him and get it, we're at 8 or 10 already. And if we go to 8, you're gonna have 12 or more inches of grass. And the city is not gonna look good when you start having lots of lawns like that. I don't think we want the city to get to that shape.
I'll ask a question of our city manager and clerk. Do we have any complaints from people who have said that 8 inches is too much?
I had complaints given to me that they would prefer it stay at 6 because of the time frame it takes us to enforce it.
Okay.
They brought it to me and requested we leave it at 6.
8 or 6, okay.
I have not received any calls about it
Okay.
one way or another. My thing is too, I don't think we've ever issued a citation to somebody that's grass is 6 inches. I think it's a
So-
non-issue.
So citation-wise, I've never issued a citation on lawns yet. Now, that's citations. That has to go through the whole court process for that. I have ordered to have the lawns mowed, and then that fee gets assessed. But those are my habitual violators, and that lawn's already well past 6 inches. We're talking the 10s to 14s. I let my lawn go. I mowed it the night of my heart attack, and it didn't get mowed until July 3rd. And it looked atrocious, and it was only at 6.5 inches. I mow my lawn at 2 3/4, and that's usually, my neighbors do the same thing. That's usually enough to get us once a week, even when it's growing heavy. I drive by, yeah, I'm that guy that drives around town and looks at your lawns, but it helps me get out and see projects that are going on and catch other violations. And I can just drive by and tell if your lawn's well in excess of that 6 inches, and then I can start taking the actions I need to. So getting out and driving around looking at the lawns does more than just looking at lawns. It's not a complete waste of time. I'll do whatever you want. If you want 8 inches, we'll go 8 inches. I think 6 inches is plenty, just based on my own experience. A residential lawnmower does not like mowing anything. It doesn't even like 4 inches from as a kid growing up. I hated mowing it when it was that tall. So my dad kept the lawn at home 2 inches tall. We were scalping that puppy. Yeah, it grows a lot. You gotta mow twice, 3 times a week in the spring. You gotta do the same in the fall. Grass loves 50-degree nights, especially when the dew point's low. But in the summertime, like right now, it's barely growing.
So I have a mother-in-law in Fort Madison, and she can't mow. And I go down there on Sundays and mow every week. Or my son, or somebody does from our family. If I had to mow hers at 6 inches down there, I'd have to go down there twice. And what if I had a 40-hour job? I'm sure there's people that same way in this town that has the same situation.
I work with the people here in town. If I see your lawn is in excess, and let's say it's Wednesday, I give you the notice, and I give you time. You're allowed to have time before I ever send someone over to mow it. Like I said, I have not issued a single citation for a lawn violation. Most people I send the notice to, I know they're working during the week. And I've been here 22 years. I know a pretty good deal on when most people are working, when they're not, kind of get an idea of their schedules. And I try to work with them on that. I also look at the weather. We got rain tonight, obviously, but we had this spring, we had a really wet spring. You go back several years ago, I think we had 2 dry days in the whole month several years ago. So you got to work with the weather, you got to work with the people, work with their schedules, and I understand that, and I try to. If I know somebody's gone out of town, we just try to work with them, and I know they're coming back. I had a resident that left, he was gone for 10 days. His lawn was atrocious, but I knew he was going to be back the next day, so I let it be.
So what do you do about the people that you don't know is out of town, that you don't know the other circumstances.
I try to, I send my notices, and if we don't get an answer back, I mean,
I don't think we have a lot of that
I
happening, John.
don't have it happen as much as it's being thought it's happening.
There's a lot of, we don't have a lot of people coming in and like, I was out of town and I'm now getting, we just don't have that.
If I get anything, I don't get anyone coming in saying, why'd you notice me because I was gone? I get the ones, why aren't you noticing my neighbor because they're not mowing their lawn? Those are the ones I get.
Yeah.
I get the complaints, I don't get the excuses. And in the 7 years I've been building inspector, I haven't had one person come in complaining about getting notified about their lawn or coming in and complaining about their neighbor's lawns. We try to stay on it as best we can. There's definitely times people could come in. I'll use the mall outlet properties as a prime example. They could have come in, that was 14 inches tall, 16 in spots, so.
I think by 8 inches, you've got weeds mixed in with your grass. And I did work full-time, John, up until last year when I retired. And I would be mowing grass. My neighbor would complain, he says, what the hell are you doing out there mowing? I have a little headlight on my hand. I knew which parts to mow first, because I have a street light for my side yard, and I used that and finished up there. So, I mean, it can be done.
And Teresa, it can be done. I worked 2 jobs, and I was on the council, and I had another job, and I got my yard done too.
So what neighbors tell you they don't want they want 8 inches?
That was 20 years ago, you know, and it changes when you get older, and a lot of people are older and mowing grass, and 6 inches is too short.
No, it's not. I'm still
I
mowing.
mean, too tall. Yeah, it's too short.
69, I'm still mowing.
Well, with that, I'm going to call for a roll call vote since there's only 4 people here.
Did you have anything you wanted?
Yeah.
I'm happy. Our biggest problem is the length of our lawn. And I'm also the proponent of what's not broke, let's not fix. While I don't, if we want 8 inches, we want 8 inches. 6 inches is good, but what's not broke's not fixed. And I trust our full-time people and the professional staff we have. Their opinion seems to be, it's good what we got, we're gonna stick with what we got, so I'm not in favor of changing this at this time. That's my vote.
Newberry,
No.
Johnson,
Okay.
Lees.
No.
Motion does not carry.
Oh, you already voted.
All right. Let's see. Number 4, consider resolution approving a final plat for the 9th addition to Wildlife Lakes subdivision.
Motion approved.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion support. Discussion.
That's Henry Bolin is here. He's the subdivider for this subdivision. This was originally preliminary platted back in 2020, and he's final platted part of the lots. There was 10 lot subdivision. 5 of the lots have already been final platted in the 8th edition, and this will be final platting the remaining 5 lots in the 9th edition. There's just one exception or one variance in the resolution, and that is to at the time he sells the lots, he'll finish paving the hammerhead that will allow for easier access for the fire department to turn around. And we did speak with the fire marshal in Burlington, and they do handle the fire calls in that area. He was satisfied with that being the way it is with some gravel. Right now, that hammerhead would extend out into a field that's being farmed. So at the time those lots are sold and developed, it makes more sense to expand it at that time rather than pour concrete out into this field that's being farmed. So that's in the resolution that is before you for consideration. So. And this is a private drive back in there, so it's not going to be a road that's dedicated to the county, or would be potentially dedicated to the city if it was annexed.
Any further discussion?
Well, a little bit. Anybody that can develop something like this around a dump is doing something right. I guess I gotta give you a little pat on the back for that, but, you are going to pave the roads, right?
It's paved.
As
The road
they're-
is paved. The existing road is paved.
Yeah, but the inlets and everything will be hard surfaced, correct?
The streets are all paved, all.
Huh?
The streets in the subdivision are already paved.
Yeah, I knew they were. I just wanted to make sure that the new ones will be,
As they're sold and
There's n-
developed, they
as
will
they're
be.
developed. they
There's
will be.
actually no new roads being built in this subdivision. They all have access to existing road that's already there. This is just a,
Inlet roads will be, the driveways and all that, as they get developed.
well, because it's in the county, it's outside of our city limits. We're just requiring the roadways
Main roads.
to be paved. The county would not require the pavement in that subdivision, but because it's within our 2-mile subdivision review area, we do require the paving.
So will the driveways get paved?
Pardon?
As they're developed, will the driveways get paved before,
The driveways are not required to be paved, most of them are. Is that what you asked?
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
asking.
The drive, you mean from the street into the house?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not a requirement.
so they won't be.
Huh?
So they won't be.
Most
Well,
of them are.
already.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the individual homeowner who buys the lot, their choice, whether they pave their driveway or not?
Is it what?
Will it be the person who buys the lot, their choice to
Yeah.
pave it or not?
Yeah, there's only one, in fact, there's only one in the whole subdivision that is not paved, and it's a long driveway. And it's paved off of the first 30, 40, 50 footers paved in, there's gravel from there, and they'll probably pave it eventually.
Gotcha. And just my question, do you build the house and then sell it, or do you sell the lot, then people put their own houses on it?
I get all the infrastructure together and do all the streets first, and then I sell the lots, and then they build their own.
It's the individual homeowner's choice to
Oh,
do
yeah.
what they want with their driveway and their
Oh, yeah.
house and stuff, because it's in the
There's
county.
only one in the whole drive. There's only one out of, I think, almost 20 houses that's
Thank you.
that's not paved.
Thank
I think it will be. When you got a $100,000 Corvette, you're probably gonna pave it.
There's that concern, right?
You might get-
When you have that fancy house sitting back there, you don't need a gravel road to drive up to, yeah.
I wouldn't want my Corvette on the gravel.
So the concrete we're talking about is 15 foot, by the way, by 20.
Yeah, it's a 60-foot strip.
Checks out in the field, I didn't pay, but I got it approved by the fire department, and leave it in gravel until we, we develop.
It's a 60-foot wide, it's a 60-foot long strip, and he has 45 foot of it already paved. This is just the section that's into the gravel. And the approach, that's
Yeah,
kind of shaped,
forward.
but she has plans.
Do you have any of these lots already sold?
Pardon?
Just curious, are any of these lots already sold?
No, because he can't sell them until they're subdivided, until the final plat is
The only
recorded.
one that's sold right now is not total,
Oh, okay.
two. But the 2 lots in the whole subdivision that are sold, that are not built on, so.
Oh, okay. So good interest? Do you have a lot of interest in the lots?
Oh, I do 1 or 2 a year.
Okay.
They don't go real fast. But it's, you've been up there,
Uh-huh,
yeah, it's, it's kind of a unique place.
very much so. The elk add to that.
We don't add on to it,
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you.
See no other discussion? All in favor signify by saying
This is
aye.
a
Aye.
resolution.
All opposed, same sign.
We gotta do a roll call.
What?
This is a resolution.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Roll call.
Resolution then, roll call.
Newberry,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Henry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Looks good out there.
Henry, I'll have that resolution. I'll let Jared know that we have processed it.
Getting that information
Yes.
that we, on the variance
Yes.
that you guys did on the planning zone.
Yeah.
He'll want to know.
Yeah,
Don't leave any letters out.
I won't do it. I'll get it.
Our next is considering a request, for a 3-year right-of-way permit from CenturyLink to install 55 foot of infrastructure on East Agency.
This is this very small section that's still in the city limits, but most of the project extends into Burlington, but they will be just a small section in town.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion other than what we had?
I didn't hear who supported it, I'm sorry.
I did.
Motion and a support. Okay.
Motion.
Sorry.
Support. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 6, consider a pay request number 5 for the South Lift Station project.
Motion approved.
Motion approved.
Support.
Support. Okay. Any discussion?
What are your thoughts on that, Greg?
Let's see, paragraph 3, it is pretty clear that the last payment is going out, the retainage is at 53,000 minus the calculated disincentives of 26. Those will be held. The contractor will receive final payment and obviously a partial release of the retainage based on the disincentives, and they'll certainly have an opportunity to respond, but it's based on Snyder's recommendations for the project, and there was numerous delays with the pumps, as you well know, the having to repaint them, getting them in. There was a number of issues that justify the holding of this portion of the retainage for the disincentives allowed under the contract.
Any other discussion? Maybe we'll do a roll call on this one, just before here.
No, well, I didn't prepare a resolution to accept the project. I just have it on there to approve the payment.
Oh.
So I just wanted to make that clear. If we're gonna do a resolution to approve the project, it'll probably be at the next.
So do a roll call. Yeah, we just do a voice.
Voice vote.
Let's vote for the payment.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Final, new business, consider a resolution accepting the South Lift Station project and release of retainage.
Move.
So moved.
Well,
Support?
that's when we were gonna talk about it a
Support.
little bit more. Do you wanna,
That's good.
you think you're okay with it?
Resolution, so we have to do.
Yeah. Is it on?
Discussion on this one?
I think she wasn't.
Well, I didn't give
Oh, you
it,
got that, huh?
I just didn't have, that first one was just for the payment.
Yeah, that's
partial
what we're
payment.
talking on it.
Apologies, yeah. This is the actual resolution. This will require the voice vote, and again, there's ample rationale to support the calculated disincentives in this project. Ample.
I know Mike's mentioned it many times, so, yeah. So I have a motion and support. Any further discussion? If not, do a voice vote on this, right?
No roll call.
I would do a roll call on this one.
Roll call.
Resolutions.
Roll call.
I apologize. I was talking, I think, when you did the motion and the second.
I believe it was Teresa was the motion, I was the second.
Okay, Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Motion
about
carries. Okay, that should be the end of our new business. Do we have any old business that should be brought up? If not, no citizen inquiries at this time. Need to have a motion to move into closed session.
So,
Support.
Motion support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We are now in closed session.